maybe interesting for us to look a little bit like, where does it come from? How does somebody, are they born with it? Does it develop? Like, what happens here?
So it's often associated with the experiences we have in growing up. So thinking about the caregiving that we experience, if our needs, our emotional needs, don't feel met in a consistent, reliable, and predictable way, we, I guess, work in ways to try and make those situations more manageable. And from that, we learn patterns and ways of functioning in our environments that help us to make our very basic human needs met. So we would think of, I mean, you tend to use language of a personality adaptation rather than
Mm.
disorder, because I think that really helps us think about how so often we have learned to adapt to respond to the environment that we grow up in. And I guess that becomes our internal working model. When we're
Mm.
doing all of that growing up and making sense of ourselves, the world, other people, how to function, if our environment teaches us that we need to be certain ways in order to get those needs met, those patterns then become more established. But diagnostically, we wouldn't typically see someone attract a label of personality disorder before the age of 18, because obviously they're still in sort of developing and still seeing. So we might see traits, but yeah, it would be an adult-based diagnostic
And
process.
if it is an adaptation, that kind of suggests loosely that something's happened in their home as a young person. They felt maybe neglected, maybe a bit abandoned, or their caregivers were unstable themselves and disorganized in the way that they attached, whether it be anxious or fear of pushing away. And is there a consistency of what kind of caregiving would result in this kind of adaptation?
And I guess I'm being careful because I don't do diagnosing, but I guess being aware of what we would think of as leading to the development of these types of presentations, it's often the inconsistency. One of the difficulties around a label is that it can feel as though families are blamed or have caused or done something. And sometimes that's the case. We often talk about the difference between big T traumas and little t traumas. So the little t traumas being far more relational and chipping away at someone's sense of safety, emotional safety growing up. So we would often see that where things aren't consistently safe, where it doesn't feel psychologically safe, the person adapts to their environment. So it would often be associated, I guess I'm wondering if you're getting at kind of attachment type language, thinking about a disorganized attachment pattern would often be what we would think of, but not exclusively, where the relational experiences that a person's had growing up in
Mm.
their environment shape things a great deal.